Hello, everyone. Welcome back. Today, we are going to go ahead and do our last bit of EQAO, which has to do with solving equations. So, I have some multiple choice here, along with some longer answer type questions, some open response questions as well. So, let's start with our multiple choice. The first question says, what is the solution to the equation 2 over 3x minus 4 is equal to 20? So how do we solve this? Well, we're going to add 4 to both sides to get 2 thirds x is equal to 24. And then we're going to cross multiply the 3 up and the 2 down to get that x is equal to 24 times 3 divided by 2, which is going to end up being 36. Okay. And so therefore, x is 36 is the solution, and that's D. Okay, let's move to 2. Mia sells t shirts from a booth at a market. She pays $30 to rent the booth. Each t shirt costs her $1.50 to make, and she sells them for $7.50 each. Her goal is to make $200 after she pays for the booth and the t shirts. What is the minimum number of t shirts that Mia must sell to reach her goal? Okay, so let's see. So, y is going to be equal to $6 times the number of shirts she sells minus 30, right? Because initially she has to pay $30 to rent the booth. And even though she gets $7.50 for each shirt she sells, she also had to pay $1.50 just to get the materials to make the shirts, right? It costs her $1.50 to get the shirts or to make them, or however it is that she obtains the shirts. So therefore, her profit per shirt is $6. So they're asking if her goal is to make $200 after she pays for the booth and the shirts, then what is the minimum number of shirts that she must sell? So now we're going to plug in 200 for y. So 200 equals 6x minus 30, which means 6x is going to be $230. So x is going to be $230 divided by 6. So 38.33 shirts, right? Now, in this case, we've got to round up to the nearest whole number, which is 39, because we need to know what's the minimum number of shirts she must sell. And it's not really possible to sell 38 shirts and a third, right? So therefore, we go up to 39, and she'd slightly surpass her goal if she did, right? Because she can't actually make exactly $200. It would be slightly more or slightly less depending on the shirts. So we just round up in this case to 39 shirts that she must sell in order to make $200 and also, pay for the to rent the booth. Awesome. Number 3 says a cell phone company offers 4 choices for purchasing talk time. Which the following has the lowest cost per minute? Okay, well, the first one is 200 minutes for 24.50. So that means we were going to do 24.5 divide by 200 for cost per minute. And that's going to be $0.1225 per minute. What about B? It's 550 minutes divided by it's $68 divided by 550 minutes. That's going to be 0.1236 and so on. Then we have $80.25 divided by 700 minutes. So cost per minute for this one is 0.1146 approximately. And then last but not least, 99.5 divided by 850 minutes is 0.1171. So therefore, which has the lowest cost per minute? Which of these numbers is the smallest? Well, it would be 0.1146. So therefore, C is going to be our answer because that has our lowest cost per minute. Very good. Okay. Now let's move on to number 4. It says, what is the value of x in the equation? -4 times 2x minus 1 equals to 36. So before we can solve for x, there's a couple options here. We could either distribute this through, or we could just divide the -4 out first. And I'm actually going to just divide the -4 out first to both sides. And that'll give us 2x minus 1 on the left. And on the right, we'll get 36 divided by -4, which is -9. Okay? Then we're going to add 1 to both sides. So it'll be 2x is equal to minus 8. And therefore, x is equal to -4. So therefore, our answer is going to be -4. And there we have it. Awesome. Okay, number 5. Gertrude sells shoes. Her total pay each week is made up of a base salary and a commission of 15% of her sales that week. 1 week, her total pay is $167.50, and she has $850 in sales. Which equation below represents the relationship between her total pay each week and her sales? Okay, so her total pay is going to be base plus commission, right? So first of all, if she had $850 in sales and she made 15% commission, that means her commission amount for this week specifically would be what? Would be 127.5, right? That's her commission amount for this week plus her base pay, right? So in this case, we know that her total pay this week was $167.50. And we know 127.5 of that is her commission, right? Because 15% of $850 is 127.5. So therefore, B is equal to 40. So therefore, her base pay is $40 per week, plus she gets 15% commission. So therefore, what's the overall relationship? It would be B, because B includes the 15% commission, 15 times the amount of sales she has that week, plus $40 extra, right? Plus $40 extra. Very good. All right, number 6, what is the value of P in the equation when R is -7? So if R is -7, we have 4 minus 2 times -7, which is equal to 4 plus 14, which is equal to 18. So therefore, D, 18, is the answer. Awesome. Okay, this next one says the table below shows information about the total cost to rent a car and the distance driven. What information would the c-intercept and slope of the graph of this linear equation give? So let's see. Well, we want to know the c-intercept and the slope of the graph. So let's first find the slope of the graph, okay? So slope would be delta y over delta x. And I'm just going to use the first 2 points there. So delta x is going to be 200 minus 100, which is 100. And delta y is going to be 15, right? 80 minus 65 is 15. So our slope is 0.15. Okay, so therefore we know that it's not B or D because we know that the cost per kilometer, the slope, is 0.15. Now we have to find out, is there a $50 fixed fee or is there no fixed fee? Okay, so based on these numbers, every time we go up 100 in terms of kilometers driven, we pay an extra $15. So that means if we drive 100 kilometers less, so if we go down to 0, we pay 15 less dollars than the previous number, which is 50. So therefore, there is a fixed fee of 50 to rent this car, and it also costs us an extra 15 cents per kilometer to drive the car, and so C would be the right answer there. Okay. Now we have 8. 8 says, Louisa chooses a cell phone plan that charges a flat fee of $20 per month and 25 cents for each text message sent. Which equation best represents the cost of Louisa's cell phone plan? C, in dollars, where N is the number of text messages sent. Okay, so basically it's 0.25 times N, right, for the text messages sent, plus $20 just flat fee, a one-time fee, regardless of how many text messages she sends. So I would say D is the best answer because it has both parts here. It has 0.25 times the number of text messages plus $20, right? Plus $20 as the flat fee. Very good. All right, number 9 says there is a linear relationship between the total cost of renting a costume and the number of hours the costume is rented. For 3 hours, the total cost is $60, and for 5 hours, the total cost is $80. What type of variation is the relationship, and what's its initial value? So, to find out, we first need to find what is our slope, okay? So it says for 3 hours, the cost is 60, and for 5 hours, the cost is 80. So that means our slope is going to be delta y over delta x. And let's assume that the time is our x and our total cost is y, right? We want to know the cost per hour, right? Not the other way around, not the hour per dollar cost, right? So therefore, we would have 5 minus 3 on the bottom and 80 minus 60 on the top, and it would be 20 over 2, which is going to be 10. Okay, so therefore our slope is $10, right? Or is going to be $10 for each hour rented, right? So at that rate, if it's $10 for every hour, and then we can have the equation y equals 10x plus b. And to find b, the initial value, we need to just plug in one of these. So either 3 comma 60 or 5 comma 80, one of the points we're given. I'm going to choose 3 comma 60, but either way, it's okay. And then I'm going to solve. I'm going to say this is 60 equals 30 plus b, which means b is equal to 30. So therefore, the initial value is 30. So we can rule out b and d because they say 20, and the answer is actually 30. Now, is it a direct variation or a partial variation? So in a direct variation, the y-intercept is 0. It would mean that it only matters how many hours and that there's no initial fee. Whereas in this case, there is an initial fee and it's $30, so it would have to be partial variation because we do have an initial fee of $30 on top of the hourly rate for renting the costume. Okay, so just to rent any costume for any amount of time, it's $30 automatically, plus it's $10 per hour that we rent the costume. Whereas if there was no initial fee, it was just how many hours you rent the costume that you paid for, then it would be direct variation. So we can rule out C, therefore, and say that it must be A. Very good. Let's move on to number 10. Alex's distance from home is represented by the equation D is equal to negative 0.5t plus 300, where D represents his distance from home in kilometers and T represents time in minutes. How long will it take Alex to reach a distance of 182 kilometers from home? Okay, so D is the distance, which we know is 182 kilometers, and that's equal to negative 0.5t plus 300. So now we've got to solve for t to get the time in minutes. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to subtract 300 from both sides and get that negative 0.5t is equal to negative 118. Then I'm going to divide both sides by negative 0.5 to get that t is 236. So therefore, the answer is A, 236 minutes. Very good. Okay, for these next three, I actually put the same questions on the next page because there's not really enough room to properly show these. And then when there's not enough room to properly show stuff, I find myself and students also will not show as much work and, will kind of not really be able to do it as well. And so I've decided to put these on the next page just so there's enough room to actually do it. So the first one says, more snacks, please. raisins and sunflower seeds are sold together in packages of 250 grams, the ratio of the mass of raisins to the mass of sunflower seeds is 3 to 5. Determine the mass of raisins in a package. Show your work. So we know that raisins and sunflower seeds are sold together and the total is 250. The mass of raisins to mass of sunflower seeds is 3 to 5. So what is the mass of raisins in the package? Okay, and this is raisins is 3. Ooh. And this is sunflower seeds. Okay, so therefore the proportion of raisins is going to be 3 over 8, right? And the proportion of sunflower seeds is going to be 5 over 8. And the total is 250. So we want to know about raisins, not sunflower seeds. So if we just do 250 grams times 3/8, we will get the mass of raisins in a package. That's going to end up being 250 times 3 divide by 8, and that gives us to 93.75 grams, right? So therefore, the mass of raisins in a package, the mass of raisins oh, looks like I spelled raisins incorrectly. Let's fix that. A package is 93.75 grams. And there we go. Awesome. Okay, next let's move on to number 2, which is share the profits. 3 partners, Luke, Deborah, and Melanie, share the profits of a business in the ratio 2:3:7 respectively. So that means Luke is ratio 2, and then we have Deborah, and then we have Melanie. So it sounds like Melanie does more of the work than Luke and Deborah because she gets more than they do combined. She gets a lot more of the profits. And so that's just perhaps that she does a lot of the work here for this business. Okay. The profit for this year is $176,496. Determine the share of profits for each partner. So Luke would get 2 out of 12, Deborah would get 3 out of 12, and Melanie would get 7 out of 12. So let's start with Luke's share of the profits. For Luke, he would get 176,496 times 2 over 12. And then Deborah would be 176,496 times 3 over 12. And then for Melanie, it would be 176,496 times 7 over 12. And all these answers together, if we added them up at the end, they should add up to 176,496 if we've done this correctly. So let's plug all those numbers in. 176,496 times 2 divided by 12 gives us $29,416. What about Deborah? 176,496 times 3 divided by 12 is 44,124. And then Melanie, it's 176,496 times 7 divided by 12. That's going to be 102,956. And sure enough, if we were to add all these up, we do end up with 176,496 as well, right? So this is how they split the profits depending on the work they did, presumably. So yeah, so that's how much money everybody got at the end of the day. Awesome. The last one is healthy fish. James adds vitamin drops to his fish tank to keep his fish healthy. If James follows the instructions on the bottle of vitamins, how many capsules should he add to his 350-liter fish tank? Show your work. Okay, so it says that you should add 2 drops for every 5 liters of water, and 1 capful is the same as 40 drops. Okay, so if he has a 350-liter fish tank, we want to find out how many capfuls that's equal to. We know that 2 drops for every 5 liters is what should be added. So let's do 2 drops. Okay, so we know that 5 liters, for every 5 liters, we need 2 drops. And we also know that for 40 drops, that's equal to 1 capful. So by solving this equation here, we're able to figure out how many capfuls is equal to 350 liters. Or in other words, how many capfuls are needed for 350 liters. So we're going to cancel out liters over liters, drops over drops, and we're just going to be left with capfuls, which is exactly what we want. So let's do that. On the top, we have 350 times 2 times 1, which is just going to give us 700. On the bottom, we have 5 times 40, which is 200. Right? Good. And then that's going to reduce to 7 over 2, which is the same as 3.5. So therefore, we need 3.5 capfuls for the 350 liter fish tank to keep those fish healthy. So there we have it. All right, everyone. Great work today. Good work sticking by with this EQAO stuff. I appreciate it. And we will see you later. Bye, everyone.